I think there's some more questions coming up here. What's this one? I think Brian Duncan and Noel Burris should get a wild card into the Champion of Champions every year. What do you think about that?
A few people have mentioned that, haven't they, really? But having said that, what will the other players think, you know? That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite right.
People who qualify for the Champion of Champions, it's a question of what they think, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. If you've just while you're on, if you're giving any advice to anybody taking up the game now, Brian, you know, a young lad, what would you be saying to them?
Well, I would be saying it's a great game to play in. You get a lot of pleasure out of it. You get a lot of social pleasure out of it. And if you intend playing, just put some time in and put plenty of practice in.
Yeah.
And just the main thing in the game is like most sports, but let's say in our game, like, is you've got to be a good loser, haven't you? Really, you've got to accept that you're going to get beat.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got to be a good loser. I mean, we can all be good winners. That's very easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you've just got to accept that you're going to get beat and just, I'm not saying brush it to one side, but just think about it and sometimes think, well, is there anything I've done wrong, or is there something I should have done different, and then just accept it and get on with the next game.
Yeah. And there's no point going and throwing your bowls up against the wall, is there, anything like that?
No.
It's not going to get them any closer.
The way I've been striking lately, I've probably missed the wall.
yeah, very good. So, well, I mean, people have said to me, when I've watched you a lot myself, Brian, and people have said, you know, when you've come off the green, you can't always tell whether you've won or lost. You know, you just come off with the same.
I think you've not got to show anything really, have you? You've got to keep it inside and just come off and think, well, it's such a up and down sport really, because at the end of the day you can play snooker, you can play darts, and if you play better than your opponent at snooker and darts, then you're going to win.
That's right.
You can play better than your opponent at bowls and you can get beat.
That's right.
By your opponent playing reaching bowls and knocking the jack out and things like that, or coming in off bowls. And luck does play sometimes a major part in the game.
That's right.
So you've just got to come off the green, accept it, and think, well, I've done my best, and go on to the next game.
So when you come off the green, Brian, so you've been 20 each, and somebody's coming off 3 bowls, and you've just come off the green. No one can tell where. Did you ever go home and like kick the dog or anything like that? No. Okay.
Well, it's just the way it goes, isn't it? I mean, it's frustrating sometimes, isn't it? You know, you can be lying up and somebody comes in off one and that. But having said that, during that game, you might have done the same thing a couple of times yourself.
Yeah.
So you've just got to take the rough with the smooth.
Yeah, it all evens out at the end of the day.
Well, it usually does, doesn't it, really?
Yeah,
you know.
That's right. So, anyway, Brian, all I can say, I mean, I've played you a time or two, and I know on my CV to have beaten you a couple of times is something that I'm proud of, although you've beat me a few more, so I'll give you that before you say it. It's been great speaking to you, Brian, and what you've achieved in the game, second to none.
Just going back to that point about luck and that, I think I played Father Hill once on the Waterloo.
Okay.
And Jeff's like a priest, obviously, and he came in off a ball, which was like a crazy hit, like, and I just looked up in the air and I thought to myself, what am I looking up there for? I have no chance against Father Hill. And that's what happens in a game, really.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, Brian, you know, you've been a great ambassador to the sport. I'm sure you continue to be. Certainly, anybody said to me who should be an ideal role model, and I've always said the one person, and that's Brian Duncan. So on behalf of everybody, Talking Bowls Radio, I'd like to wish you all the best for the season, and I'll see you on the circuit, Brian.
I hope so. I'll see you somewhere. I'll see you somewhere anyway.
Yeah, and I'll you can go and get your pint now, and I'll buy you one myself when I see you next.
Well, that'll be first, won't it?
Yeah, that'll be right. Okay, thank you very much.
Take care, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
All the best, mate.
And good night.
Bye-bye, good night.
So there you are, folks, the one and only Brian Duncan. What a player. We've had him on the show. He said he was going to go on for 10 minutes as our special guest, and we've had him on there for 45 minutes. So, but it's been well worth speaking to. He's a legend. So this is Talking Bowls Radio, sponsored by Thurston and Osprey Irrigation.